Hi, my name's David. Behind me on the screen there you can see the online ChemSex Care plan. That's an online tool that we can use to help us make changes around our chem use or just reflect on our own chem use. It's designed for people who can't get into clinic or don't want to go into clinic, but they'd rather do it at home in the privacy of their home at a time when it suits them. Or for some people who do want to do it with some help, but clinicians in their area or therapists or healthcare providers don't really know enough about ChemSex to sort of help us. So this might be something we could do together with them. It's just a series of prompts that take us through different options so we can get a better idea of the role chems are playing in our life and maybe make changes if we want to or play more safely. So let's get started. The first page that would come up would be the beginning page, the ChemSex Care Plan. It just invites us to go through the prompts. And so we could do that. So the first thing that would come up on the screen would be 4 options. There's abstinence, there's take a short break, there's play more safely, and there is still not sure what I want to do. I guess. Let's say for instance that you did choose the abstinence goal. Let's click on that. So the page that would come up just has a whole lot of information about how to identify cravings when they're happening, how to be prepared by knowing the triggers that might cause us to want to use, tools to manage cravings differently when they happen, and other supportive networks and tools and things we can do to strive toward our goal of abstinence. But also there's a whole lot of links to for instance, the 12-step fellowship groups. Most cities have 12-step fellowship groups. That's things like Narcotics Anonymous, Crystal Meth Anonymous, things that might help us with that. Codependence Anonymous is also a helpful one sometimes for the sex part of ChemSex if it's getting out of control. And Sex Addicts Anonymous is another helpful one for that same kind of thing. So it's a big goal. I have to say not a lot of people choose this abstinence tab, so I'll keep it quite short. There's a page there with lots of information on it, including videos that can help us work toward that goal and maintain it with relapse prevention techniques. So let's go back to the home page where we can choose from our 4 options. There's one there which says play more safely. That's for people who don't necessarily want to stop using or don't have a need to stop using yet, or they just want to be safer when they play. By knowing what the drugs are, how they work and how to use them in a way that causes less harm. So on this page we've got all that information. Let's click on it. So as you'll see on this page there's a whole lot of information about tips on how to use chems more safely, tips on how to be as safe as possible. Very appropriate to ChemSex. And there's also other links there too. There's links to a whole lot of videos to help us play more safely on the YouTube channel. And there's also links to some of my brilliant colleagues who've got even more robust and different harm reduction information on their sites. That's all there on that page. So we can, that would be if you wanted to play more safely, get some harm reduction techniques. Let's go back to the home page in case that's not the option you wanted to choose. So there's another option there called still not sure what I want to do. That's in case you just don't know what to do. Maybe you're not ready to stop using chems, maybe you don't need to, maybe everything's fine, maybe just really thinking on the role chems and sex are playing in our lives. So we can click on that tab. Let's have a look. So on this page you'll see a whole lot of questions. They're questions that really help us reflect on the role chems are playing in our lives. What do I like about ChemSex? What do I dislike about ChemSex? Do I sometimes miss days at work or at college, or am I experiencing more STIs than I wanted to? What percentage of my ChemSex use, what percentage of my sex life involves chems? What percentage doesn't? What would I prefer it to be? It just goes on and on and on with a whole lot of questions, including the role that what's happening in our social lives, how often we're seeing our friends and family, we're really enjoying our sex lives. It really just, if we just keep going through these, we just kind of get a better idea of what we want from our sex lives, and if the chems are helping us to achieve that or interfering with that, you know, it's your decision. No one can tell you what to do. These questions are really just designed to kind of help you figure out if you need to do anything at all. No one else can tell you. So let's go back to the home page just in case we wanted another option. So here we are back at the home page again, and the second option there I'm leaving to last because it's the most chosen option, is take a break. The idea behind the take a break option is trying to make a decision for the rest of your life, or deciding what your sex life is going to be forever, or the role the chems are going to play in it forever. Sometimes these are big decisions, and it can be a bit kind of scary big decisions. So sometimes just to get an idea if we still have control over chems, or if it's the other way around, it can be like an experiment of taking a short period of time, of choosing to not use for a short period of time. Just to give us an idea of, oh phew, I don't have a problem after all, that was really easy, or geez, that was harder than I thought, time to sort of step it up and go back and try a bit harder. And so that's it, is take a short break. So let's click on that and see what happens. So when you click on the take a break button, the first thing that comes up, it lists a whole lot of options about how long a period of time would you like to take a break for. Stretch from 4 months or right down to just a day, depending on what you want. So let's say, for instance, that you're going to pick 3 months. Good choice. Let's click on it and see. So the first page that comes up here now would be just a question about how confident you are you can achieve this goal. So let's say we've chosen 3 months. We've now got a scale there of how confident we are we can do it. Now 3 months is a long time. If I, for instance, was playing with chems every week or twice a month, 3 months might be a bit of a difficult goal to achieve. I might not be very confident I could achieve that. And that's why in this case I might click something low on that scale, maybe 3 out of 10. Let's do that. And because I was only 3 out of 10 confident to do this, this page is going to suggest I try a shorter goal, something that's more achievable. The most important thing that we can do here is really get a sense of achievement. First of all, get that peace that comes from knowing I have some control, and getting a sense of accomplishment, like I can do this. It spurs us on, it just really motivates us. So the main goal, and I think the most special thing about this care plan, is finding a period of time that can give you a sense of accomplishment, like you can do this, I've got some control over this. And so this page is really encouraging us to pick a shorter amount of time. Let's say in this instant we're going to pick 7 days. Let's do that. So we're back to the choices again to choose a period of time to take a break for. We chose 3 months last time. We weren't very confident we could achieve it, so we've just been prompted to take something smaller. In this case, let's try 7 days. Yeah, it's a smaller, more achievable kind of length of time, I think. Let's do that. So here we are back at that confidence page again. It's now asking us again how confident we are that we could achieve this goal of 7 days. And you know what? That seems more achievable to me in my case. So let's click on let's say 8 confidence. Let's do that. That's a good thing. We've come to a page now. It's now asking us how important it is to achieve this goal. We've got a 7-day plan of a break from chems. Now maybe we don't need to do this. Maybe it's not important to us at all. It's asking us how important it is to do this. And on a scale of 0 to 10, let's pick 3 if it's not very important, just to see what happens. And here we are. So we've chosen 3 out of 10. It's like it's not very important. This page is just reminding us that we don't need to do this if we're not wanting to, if we're not ready to. We shouldn't be doing it if a family member or a boyfriend or somebody is encouraging us to do it. It only works if we need to and if we want to, and if it's coming from our heart, someplace important to us. And so that's kind of what this page is about, is making sure that we're not doing this unless we really want to. We can always come back to this care plan any other time. But let's just say that it is important to us, okay? Let's say that it's 8 out of 10 important. It's quite important to achieve this goal, to get this sense of accomplishment. Let's move forward from there. So let's click 8 out of 10 important. Oh good, so we know it's important to us. We've chosen a period of time of 7 days to take a plan. The next thing that's going to happen is a page is going to come up which is going to guide us to how to make us even more confident to achieve that goal of 7 days. So the first thing it's going to do is help us identify our most vulnerable times of the week. Some people, it's very unlikely they're going to be have cravings or tempted to use on a Tuesday morning when they're getting out of bed and going to work. That's like not a very vulnerable time for them. For some people it's more when they're home alone on a Friday night. For some people it's when they're out drinking with their friends on a Saturday night. For some people it's on the train journey home after having had 10 drinks with some friends, and the grind is on, and suddenly they had planned not to do chems, but now in this condition they are more likely to. So it's helping us choose the most vulnerable time of the next 7 days when we're going to be more likely to use it. That way we can anticipate it and maybe put things in place for those vulnerable times, like having good friends around us during those vulnerable times, or putting different things in place, or staying away from certain triggers. And triggers is the next thing that I want to talk about. Triggers is the next thing on this page that is important to talk about. So sometimes it feels like cravings just hit us bang out of the blue. It's never really like that. There's always something that's bringing it on, even if we're unconscious of it. Sometimes it can be feeling lonely or uninteresting as we're playing on Facebook, watching everyone else's lives. Or a Saturday night, all my friends are out clubbing and I'm home alone, or seeing people walk down the street, or an argument with mum, or it could be all sorts of things. So it's really like, these questions are going to help us identify what our triggers are, the things that are going to make us more likely to use, because just being conscious of them makes us able to deal with that better when they come. And another thing that's coming along on this page is some other things. We want to make sure that the role that alcohol and other like non-chemsex drugs are playing in our life. For instance, very few people consider alcohol as part of a chemsex problem, or as a chemsex thing, but for a lot of us, we're quite determined not to do chems, but after 5 drinks on a Saturday night, and like I said before, sitting on the tube, on Grindr on the phone, yikes, we're more likely to use. So it's just being conscious that if we have a plan for 7 days, if we're that kind of guy, maybe reducing the amount of drinks we have from like 7 to 2, or making sure we've got a good friend with us that can keep us on track that night. It's just putting those things in place. It's the same for other things like coke or ecstasy. For some people these are not chemsex drugs at all, but it can put them in a mood where after they've done those drugs they find themselves going hunting for the other like chemsex drugs. So it's just being really conscious of that for this short period of time that we've chosen, which in our case is 7 days. And then of course on the same page it's craving management. It's how to manage cravings differently when they happen. So sometimes they just hit us out of the blue, and it can be devastating and overwhelming, kind of like an emotional state. We're in a panic, almost like we're compelled to go find the dealer or to go hunting on apps for chems and sex. I'd argue that there are some tips and things we can learn to do when that emotional state comes upon us to kind of calm us down. And so there's some online prompts here that can help us figure out what the best ones for you might be. There's also a whole lot of videos that'll come up on your screen too that talk us through cravings when they're happening to us. So even if you're at home at 2 o'clock in the morning and you've got a craving, you can go onto YouTube and look, or onto this site and look at one of those videos to talk us down from that panicky emotional state that's making us use. And so the next page that's going to come up, it's just helping us, it's reminding us, it's kind of summarising what the plan is. So 10 minutes ago, before we logged onto this site, we didn't really know what to do about chemsex, our chemsex or our use. There was no chemsex clinics in our area, or the sexual health clinic I went to didn't know anything about chemsex. But just in the 10 minutes you've been here, we've identified a period of time, let's say 7 days, to take a break for, to help us give us that sense of control back. The next thing we've done is we've assessed how important it is for us to do this. It's an important kind of thing to kind of be aware of. We've also assessed that we're kind of confident that we can do this, and we're doing it to get a sense of accomplishment, that we can do this. We've got some control, and that's going to give us some motivation and spur us on. Then what we've done is we've identified our most vulnerable times within the next 7 days. Those times within the next 7 days that we're pretty more likely to use than at other times, and so we can put things in place like call a friend or arrange something differently. I'll make sure that we're doing something different than we might normally at that time. We've also identified what our triggers might be, the things that might occur to us that we see online, that we do in the street, things that upset us, so that we're aware and conscious of those triggers when they happen. And then we put in place some craving management techniques so that we know when they hit us, those cravings, we've got some things that work for us that can help us change our emotional state that's leading to that craving, that might take that craving from a place of just craving to using. So it's kind of talking us down from that emotional state, including all those videos that we can access. And that's kind of it. We have a care plan now. I kind of make this because ChemSex is a bit different to other kind of drug use, and sometimes there's not the right kind of help for us. Sometimes we don't need help, we just need to think about it sometimes. So just reflect on our sex lives and what we want from our sex and romantic lives. Make it happen. It's about how we use Grindr, how we write our profiles, how we communicate back online with other people, what makes us feel satisfied from our sexual experiences, and what makes us put our head on the pillow at the end of the month and think about the sex we had this month. And yeah, it's all good thoughts. How do we make that happen? This is kind of what this site's kind of all about. Try to help us reflect and achieve some of those things. Sex is meant to be awesome. If chems are playing a part in our life, then they should damn well be not causing us any harm or misery at all. Certainly not extreme harm like we're seeing sometimes. But at the very least, just to think about what we want from sex, how to make it happen, and have the best time in bed or wherever as we possibly can. Thanks.